I've drilled my plates which are sitting on top of the floor, and the next thing I'm going to do is make plates to go under the floor, and I'll just drill through these holes now. It'll be just going through the thin floor, and then I'll be able to mark up these plates. These are the Motorsport Ireland requirement, and I'll be able to mark the pattern onto these, and then I'll be able to drill them and fit them underneath. And when I tighten the bolts down through these, that will help to form the floor, make it flat here because there's a bit of a ridge there. Probably need a little bit of beating here to get it right, so that it sits flat when I weld it in.
I welded a 6mm pilot hole, making sure I had the plate in the right position. Then the 10mm hole for the bolt to go through. I wriggled it around because it's going through 3 pieces of steel at this stage. I then just fitted a bolt through it to hold it in position while I drilled the other side. I then removed that bolt that was keeping the front legs in position, and also the 2 on the back legs. Going to move the legs of the main hoop out of the way so that I can drill all the holes nice and straight from above and not be working around the upright roll cage bar. I then refitted that bolt that's keeping it all in position, and then could use the holes now that are in the plate as a guide for drilling out through the floor. But I'll need to hold that in position, so I'm getting a socket and a spanner to tighten up this bolt with a nut on it. Luckily it's not too hard to reach the top and the bottom at the same time through the door opening. I did the same thing at the other side. Tap the plate into position. Then, finding the center of the holes in the plate, I could drill on pilot holes through the floor. Same procedure on the other side. And then I could do 10mm holes through all of them. After 2, I decided to bolt it tight just to stop the plate wandering any bit. So the plate that I've already made is acting as a guide for the drill accurately through the floor. Did the 10mm holes on the driver's side as well. Don't forget this car's left-hand drive. Then remove the bolts. And I could take out this plate then. And get ready to mark up the other one. Decided to identify these in case I get them mixed up. The reason for just not blindly going through this lower plate following the pattern of the top one is that the seam, the lip where the sill matches the floor, which comes out vertically, and they're pinched together, it just could offset the plate a tiny bit, and then all the holes would be in the wrong position. So it would be the same pattern, but it might just be slightly offset. Back to the drill, which I set up last time. And with this many holes to drill through all these plates, it's a real time saver. Pilot holes again, through them all. These are the underfloor plates now, and I traced the holes that I had made in the floor onto them. with the big drill bit. It really makes light work of that. Same job on the other plate. Lots of swarf already around the new drill. It's been busy already. Okay, put the cage then back into position. With the top plates in already. Position it correctly, lining up 3 holes at this point, and get that guide bolt down, and now get that through one of the underfloor plates. Now you can see that lip that I was talking about that could have affected the position of this, so it's a nice tight fit. Getting one nut and bolt on it for starters, and now finally that top plate and the bottom one are sandwiching the floor, and you can see it pulling it together flat. Also on the other side. That's just with one bolt. Now with everything held in position, just running the drill bit through all the holes just to get the alignment perfect, so that the bolts will go in nice and easy. That inside corner one though I won't get from the top, so I'll have to do that from underneath. Just a little bit coming off. This is still not the final bolting in. I'm going to tighten it all up now so it finds its position with the floor and pulls the floor into shape. But next thing I'm going to do is make the vertical plate that I want to go up along the inner sill there. When I do this finally as well, I'll put the bolts the other way so there's less protrusion to catch things on the road and also damage the threads on the nuts. I'll have them coming up into the interior, and that way you'd be able to monitor with a glance that nothing has come loose. Giving it a few bashes of this soft hammer to get it fitting nice and tight and flat. After that, there was a few more turns available on all the nuts and bolts. So I'll have its final sitting position. So now I'll make the plate extensions, the pieces I want to go up vertically. So there's not really a regulationary size on these, so I'm just going to use the remainder of that cut across my sheet. I'll have it, and I'll have about 50% of what the flat surface going up vertically then, which gives me a weld midway up the sill rather than along the top edge. They're still clinging together, but I'll be able to just pull it apart. So now you can see how they're going to fit in. I'm just using that screwdriver to hold it in place, and I'll put a tack weld on it to lock in the shape. Did that both sides. I marked around the plates as well, just to make sure before I do the welds around the perimeter of the entire plate that I have all the paint and sealants removed from the area, so I get a nice clean weld when this is eventually welded to the floor. I'm going to take it out now again and do a continuous weld across the back, joining up that piece. Sliding it out from underneath the cage. Putting 2 bolts in it there to hold it in the vise. And giving it a bit of a clean up now along the area I'm going to be welding. Using the flap wheel as well to clean up the visible surfaces of the piece, which was weathered before I got it, unfortunately. So I welded all the way along the back first. That's the handy thing about not having this fitted in the car. It's really going to be as one piece of metal because I will have it welded on both sides. I had to use my video lamp to light the work so I could see what I was doing. I did go a tiny bit astray at the end as I was coming off the piece, but that will be just behind the cage. It's perfectly strong, but it's not the neatest, unfortunately. I tidied this up, not really for cosmetic reasons, but just so it fits in flush into the 90 degrees between the floor and the sill. Loosen the cage again so I can clean up, make sure I've got all those areas clean. This is going around that perimeter that I marked in with the pen. And remove the last few bits of sealant and clean off the floor. So I'm putting a weld through primer on this so it won't rust. So that's my main roll cage hoop fitting plates made, including the underfloor brackets.